Hey everybody, we should be completely live. So let me make sure I can hear the audio before we jump in. And there we are. Bingo. Happy Sunday, everybody. For those people in Australia, happy Monday. So let's, as usual, jump right in. And people are probably saying, I look different today. Well, you can ask me as to why later. Anyway, let's talk about math, money, and freedom and go through all of these slides. This is where I answer all your top questions from the whole week and your top concerns. There's a lot of questions about Solana, a lot of questions about how crypto is funded, a lot of questions about portfolio management, rebalancing, exiting, switching, etc. So we pulled all the big questions and give you a thorough answer. And as usual, none of this is investment advice. It's all edutainment. So let's talk about the beginning. First of all, an easy one. This is from New Horizon. Thoughts on Terra Luna. So this is a really easy one. I really like Terra Luna. It is one of the top three over the past month or so. And I picked two of the three, and that was Avalanche, Solana that I have. I didn't have Terra Luna. I do like it. It has good tokenomics. It's a great project. I just don't own it. And one of my key philosophies as well is never chase, replace. So after something goes up 3, 4, 5x, I don't chase it. But I do look at it if it does dip down into my targets. So that's the first question. Terra Luna, thumbs up. Great project. Second question. This one, Resol, how'd you come up with an estimate top from Temsam? So this is a question I get. So first of all, I build a detailed price prediction models. I actually built 4 for Solana because I was so excited about the project. In fact, I looked at my first Solana should I buy video back in May, and I couldn't contain myself at the end of it. I was like giggling. I was like, should I buy? Oh yeah, definitely buy this one. Now, there are some price prediction models I popped out on Patreon a while back, and these were just top targets, which I think you're referring to. So basically what I did here was I did this kind of like painting with a broad brush. They aren't my 4 price prediction models, but these are kind of where I believe the top could go based on 4 very simple theses. And my thesis was always at the beginning, okay, Ethereum as a multiple of Solana is 31 times, and if ETH goes to a certain target, we should have a Solana price target of 245. That was based on, I believe, the market cap of Ethereum. The market cap of Solana should be 20% of that of Ethereum. The second one is the Cardano multiple of Solana, and I believe they should be equivalent, and that would take us to about $190. The first thesis would take us about 245. As you know, a while ago I said 150 to 250 should be very easy. My most conservative price prediction model for Solana in that video that I put out was $92. I didn't think we'd get to it so soon in this bull run, but anyway, that's that. Now, if Ethereum goes to 10K and Solana has 20% of Ethereum market cap, that would take us to $737 for Solana, which is crazy. That's really 9x from where we are today. And Cardano, if Cardano goes to $3.50, and the market cap of Solana is 100% of that of Cardano, that'll take us to $380.95. So, Tom, they are my top prediction models, just the basic ones, the broad stroke. But basically, you can see from the average of all of these, we have a long way to go for Solana. So it's still a very good investment. This next question came from Delayed Gratification. Will MicroStrategy run faster than Tesla before Christmas, in your opinion? And if so, when is the best time to switch? 20 to 50%, please, because I have 100% of Tesla inside my pension. So this is kind of a investment advice question. Give investment advice, so I won't. But what I will do is I'll show you a model I built for you so you can make your own decision. So here is basically, I put together a theoretical MicroStrategy price roof and price floor at Bitcoin being $80,000 and $100,000 by Christmas, respectively. So they are the 2 places that I believe we could go to. Now, if we go to $80,000 of Bitcoin, the roof of MicroStrategy would be about $1,275, and the floor would be about $1,017. If we go to $100,000, MicroStrategy would go to $1,555, really beautiful number, and the floor would be about 1241. Now, my theoretical price roof for Tesla by Christmas, it's not really related to Bitcoin prices, but I have it in there anyway. $951 to $970. That's kind of the roof. And the floor for Tesla is $840 to $857. And this is also a function if they start accepting Bitcoin again, is tied into this model. So basically, if you invest $100,000 today, you would be able to buy 702 shares. Oh, the price of MicroStrategy is $702, Tesla 711. So you get 142 MicroStrategy shares and 140 Tesla shares, which means the average return based on all those models, you get an average return of MicroStrategy ROI of 63% if Bitcoin goes to 80,000, and your ROI from Tesla is 25%. And if Bitcoin goes to $100,000, your ROI for MicroStrategy is 99%. Versus 28.5%. So from there, you can see basically, you can map out exactly the projections of where Bitcoin's going to go and make up your own timing decisions as well. But basically, I think MicroStrategy is definitely the better bet right now compared to Tesla. But Tesla could have a breakthrough with FSD version 10, and then it could be a game changer. So we'll wait and see, but I don't think that's going to happen by Christmas. Christmas is very close. Okay, next question. We had a lot of questions regarding Solana. And entry points, etc. Should I switch? Should I buy? So we're going to jump into some of these right now. First of all, from Ross, I want to buy ETH and Sol and Aave and ChainLink. Can you give your opinion on some good entry points and have enough retirement account to buy another Bitcoin or ETH? I am 63.82% in Bitcoin. So the first question is easy. Bitcoin is always the safest, and you should always be 65% Bitcoin. So you're like almost there right now. So take that and come up with your own financial conclusions. Now, in terms of entry points, I like ETH at 3,100. For those of you who don't have enough ETH or anything else, there's a lot of FUD right now flying around about Ethereum. The split, the bug, the gas fees, etc. So it's getting a lot of bad press, but that's normal. But you can see from the chart here, it's very, very steady, and it's due for a breakout soon. Second one is Solana. Now, a lot of people are kind of FOMOing right now. There's like, oh, I missed it at 22 and I missed it at 30 and 40 and 50 and 60. And here we are. And it was at 68, 67 on Thursday, only a few days ago. So if you zoom in here, you will see there's two green lines that I've drawn, and they were my two kind of floor support levels for Solana. And they are both at 76 is the high one and 67 is the low one. So they are been my entries. Again, you saw a lot of weakness in Solana yesterday and a little bit this morning, but it's coming back. It's back to about 95. So I don't know if you'll get any fills there, but again, it's 5x in 6 weeks. So very dangerous to chase. Remember, don't chase, replace. Aave entry. This one, 351, 361 is what I like it at. And I think this is going to $600. That is my price prediction, $599 precisely for Aave. And ChainLink here. You see this one. I like the floor entry around 24.6 precisely. I still think ChainLink is going to $40. But remember as well, everybody, not all entries remain fixed. This whole space is a moving target. Everything changes from day to day. And that's why I always say, keep your tap dancing shoes on. All right. And all of this assumes we are only halfway through our bull cycle. So hope that helps. Now, next question is from Amazing World. Thinking of selling my Tezos for Solana. Is this a good idea? Is Solana too high? I get this a lot. Should I get rid of whatever for whatever? So let's look at the Solana versus Tezos models real quick. So over the last 6 months, Tezos has done really well. It's up 64%. But Solana, unfortunately, is up over 650%. So it's more than 10x what Tezos did in the last 6 months. And remember as well, while Tezos is, and by the way, for those of you looking at the chart, Tezos is the orange line, and the rest is my kind of actual Solana chart and how I look at things and where I put in support levels. So I leave my chicken scratch all over it so I remember, and I notate a lot of them as well. All done in TradingView too. But basically, my thesis here is Tezos is, their whole business case is primarily use case is store of value. So basically, when you compare that to, I'm having I took a painkiller, so my brain's a bit off. When you compare that to Solana, which is a programmable layer 1, it's a very different use case. And as a result of that, be very careful. I still believe, as you saw from my previous slide, Solana has more room to go. Tezos could double, while Solana could easily 3, 4, 5x. So I don't think it's too late for Solana, and we'll talk more about that as well. But Tezos is a very, very different kettle of fish, and I don't know how long more it'll go. So this one is super interesting. When the time comes from Crypto Recon, I am worried that cryptos may be difficult to cash out of when attempting to take profits, as exchanges will be congested, etc. Any strategies on that front? Well, this is a very important question and stuff I've been hinting at for a long time. So there will come a time when everybody's going to be running for the door, and people will get out of cryptos that have high inflation, they have a low circulating percentage, they have an unfavorable use case, they are redundant tokens. For example, they're a cheap imitation of an original token, etc. And I don't want to be harsh with my words, and I get hate if I say something negative about somebody's bag, but I'm going to throw a little list up here. These are ones that could have a big rush when it comes to selling. You know, Shiba Inu, Ethereum Classic, BitTorrent, Bitcoin Gold, Stellar Lumens, SafeMoon, Monero, ICP, PancakeSwap, XRP, Doge. We've also, using the Crypto Compendium, I put together a much longer list of things that I believe will really tank when the market turns. And these are things you don't want to be holding because, again, the way markets work, buyers and sellers. If the sellers exceed the number of buyers by 2 to 1, you will have things cataclysmically fall. Remember, it's a very fine balance. They don't fall gently, they just tank because the buyers will dry up completely and it'll just be sellers. And the sellers will be outbidding each other just to try to get out of these things. So be very careful, everybody. I hope I didn't offend anybody with that list, but these are some of the high-risk ones that we have as being kicked out of our Crypto Compendium. They have high regulatory risk, they have high levels of centralization, they've got very low amount of circulation, they've got high inflation, yada yada, a whole list of issues that are just not good. So, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention as well, there are some cryptos that already are hard to sell on certain exchanges, and I've had a lot of reports on that as well. Sometimes it's just really, really hard to get out of certain things. So you may already see some of that happening today. So next question is from Paratosh B. What is the frequency and criteria needed to rebalance one's crypto portfolio? This is a great question, and I did a video in the past on how to rebalance and everything else, but I was going to give you a quick summary of what actually happened to me. So this is basically when I first last year, say March last year, my plan was to be 85% Bitcoin, 15% Ethereum. But remember, Ethereum was at $200 and Bitcoin was at about between 4,000 and 7,000 for quite a while. Then I went up to 9,000. But this is what happened with these charts. You will see that Ethereum went up over 6 times and Bitcoin went up over 2x just in this last time frame I have here in the snapshot. So I'll show you how things can get very easily out of whack. So a way to visualize a rebalancing example. Here you will see 3 little pie charts. On the far left, you'll see Bitcoin. Now it's just a hypothetical. It's not real. It's not my portfolio. It's just a simple little graphic. But imagine I want to have 50% Bitcoin, 30% Ethereum, etc., and the other 20% altcoins. In fact, wow, that doesn't even add up. So I pulled this off the internet. Whoever did it didn't do very well. Anyway, just to save time. The second one you can see when Ethereum went up in value, obviously it skewed the allocation from 30% Ethereum to over 40% Ethereum. And you rebalance by offloading some of your Ethereum. So that's just one way of doing it. Think about the broad categories of how much you want to hold of each and be quite strict about that because you don't want to be holding a lot of high risk, high beta tokens, especially if things turn around. Second thing, get rid of losers when you can. This is very, very important. So be a machine, be ruthless, be prepared to get rid of the ones that aren't going to perform over the medium term. The other thing as well is rebalance method for riskier assets. So for example, in this instance, you'd have, say you have a $300,000 portfolio. You've got a third of that in high risk stocks and crypto. And one position gains, it does a 5 or 10x. what you can do is take all the profit off the table and leave your initial investment on the table as a simple rebalancing way. And we'll have many more models on this to help you rebalance as we go forward, so stay tuned for those as well. The other thing that's very important as well, this comes from Warren Buffett, is diversification is only required if investors don't understand what they're doing. And basically what he means by this is, if you can pick the best performing asset and always be on that best performing asset, you don't need to be in any other asset. That's why the best performing asset over the past decade was Bitcoin. So if you were only invested in Bitcoin, you crushed everybody else. However, this year has been different. So we saw some altcoins going up thousands of %, and sometimes it makes sense to be on those as well. So just be ready to identify when your fast horses get tired and need to be retired for another asset. That could be a new fast horse. And that's what we always try to look for here as well. So hope that helps with your thinking process as well. I appreciate the question. So next question, we had 2 questions from Matthew P. and Darnell P. They're kind of similar, but basically the first one is, the current Solano Venture Capitalists is sitting on a 300x return. What prevents a rug pull on retail investors? And how do you obtain the future perpetuals to show these same VCs are in it for the short-term future investing? Not sure I got that last piece, but basically the way to think about these types of investors during a rug pull is they wouldn't. First of all, the backers include top-notch groups like Andreessen Horowitz, Sam Bankman-Fried from FTX, etc., Polychain, and a whole other very, very reputable backers in the industry. They are extremely unlikely to engage in rug pulls. First of all, rug pull in cryptos are criminal and can be considered fraud and an exit scam. Second of all, it would destroy the VC's reputation, which would not be very good. And in addition, the Solana vesting schedule goes until 2023, so they can't even sell out right now, even if they wanted to. But many investments that VCs make are for a 5 to 7 year for their fund life. They'll be holding because they know, point number 6, there's an awful lot of upside potential. If you look at all the work, all the stuff that's just been released for Solana right now, like Wormhole for interoperability, a lot of dApps like Radium and Serum, DEXs, and so much more. The whole NFT world is exploding. So the future still remains very, very bright for this whole space. Remember, if you look at the gas fees on Ethereum yesterday, just mind-blowingly high. And the reason for that is because the network is being so heavily used. So everybody just keep that in mind. So the second question related to this, and you guys are all very concerned about Solana because you're sitting on gains and you're all very nervous, and I understand that. But Solana received huge financial backing a few months ago. But what did those backers get in return for their $500 million? Was it Solana? If it was Solana, where do these coins come from? Or if an equity position, is there a risk that some of the profitability of the chain can be siphoned off to provide return to those investors? Great, great question, Matthew. So first of all, if we look at the Solana Foundation ICO, yes, it was all paid out in Solana tokens. The Solana Foundation is a nonprofit. It cannot issue shares of stock, but it did raise money through its ICO, which you can see here. Now, typically these projects do this, promising a portion of the total supply of coins to the investors before the coin hits the open market. And its backers were promised SOL tokens in exchange for supporting the project. Now these SOL tokens are subject to a vesting period, like I mentioned before, out to 2023. And this graphic here shows you their release schedule by category. Now, a lot of people do think that Solana is very heavily concentrated, like 50% plus was for kind of insiders, investors, team, etc., and less than half for the community. But that is kind of the way many things are structured. But if you look at the money that these investors actually put up, like it's not like your normal 20 million, 30 million raise. They raised a ton of money. And therefore they, Andreessen Horowitz, he's making many multi-billion dollar bets in the crypto world. And if he's behind this project, they have got big plans. And that's one of the reasons as well. We were very familiar when we did Should I Buy Solana back, I think it was May 15th. 2021, and I was giddy at the end of it because I was like, wow, this is incredible. But one of the main reasons as well was the fact that they had so many great backers, such a great ecosystem and everything else. So wouldn't be concerned about this, still holding. And remember, they're going after a $400 trillion market space. And that's what's very compelling. Okay, from Rainer. I read an alarming info about energy consumption associated with NFTs. It stated that the energy consumption of one single NFT was 340 kilowatt hours. It's equivalent of an EU resident's electricity consumption for 1 month, flying for 2 hours, or driving 1,000 kilometers, or using a computer for 10 months. Is that accurate? So it's a couple of things here to unpack. So the quick summary is this. So first of all, it is an interesting argument, but the criticism is completely overblown. Let's first dive into what the logic of the argument is. So NFTs are non-fungible tokens, and they're unique, yada, yada, yada. We all know that. But most NFTs are currently built on Ethereum, which is proof of work, which does use a lot of mining energy. But in order to build something, create a smart contract in Ethereum, there is the cost that associated with it, and it pays for part of the cost of the miners to keep the network secure. Now, the authors of these NFTs through specific platforms are paying this fee. Now, the argument here is taking all of the fees NFT creators paid to the miners in order to create their NFTs and translating that into kilowatt hours that miners are using to secure the network simply isn't fair. So the big issues is, one, it's a distraction argument. This line of reasoning is trying to blame NFT creators for energy consumption for the platform they use. Is like saying a YouTube creator is responsible for all the energy YouTube uses, and it's not. So then the second one is moral equivalence. Creating NFTs isn't free. Creators are paying for their energy usage. And question is, what are people allowed to use energy for? Which should be their own decision. And the third part is Ethereum is moving to proof of stake, which consumes a fraction of the energy mining with proof of work. So net, it's your usual FUD article. Somebody pulled up something, the Ethereum network uses all this, and this is the amount of NFT traffic, and divide one by the other, and that's what NFTs use. Nope, fake, overblown. So wouldn't worry about it. And the final good piece of news for today, we have 2 new little animals that your contributions have supported. So this is manatees. We had suggestions from the audience to sponsor some manatees, so we sponsored 2 of them. And one is Una in Florida, manatee rescued as an orphan after she was entangled in a fishing line. And a lot of these poor manatees get hit by speedboats as well down in Florida and places. Second one is Paddy Doyle. He's called the Fighting Irishman because he's the feistiest manatee, and we all have a fighting spirit here in this community. So he's in the Blue Spring State Park area. So big thank you, everybody, as well. And now we'll open up to some Q&A. So hope everybody is doing fantastic. I'm going to switch cameras and grab these questions. And big thank you as well to everybody out there, if Mike is in the chat, and K8 for grabbing all the super chats. I appreciate it. So Pickle Pants Houlihan, if you had 40 G's to invest, what would you do? Well, first of all, I wish I had it 6 weeks ago. The returns in crypto over the last 6 weeks have been absolutely mind-blowing. What I would do, 40 G's, I'd split it down the middle, 20-20. I'd have 20 ready to pounce on good equities that fall into my traps based on my, prices that I believe would be very attractive. Things like buying Amazon at $3,000, etc. would be great. And the other half, I'd put a big chunk, probably 30% into Solana, 20 to 30% into Ethereum, and the other third into Bitcoin. But regarding Solana and Ethereum, I'd have to look very carefully about what I place my money, and are there some other faster horses out there? Because I believe there are, and we're close to identifying 1 or 2 in the very near future, and we look forward to sharing that with you as well. So, but be careful, of course, not financial advice, and investing is a blood sport. Remember, for every winner, there's a loser. Aaron Resnick, do you think the lowest point of the next bear market will be higher than we are now? Yes, I do. Actually, I see us going to 100K, which, the cycle's being elongated, and the cycle may never end, actually, because I believe there's going to be so much growing demand. That's one thing. Second thing, 50K, I don't believe the retracement will be anywhere near what it was in the past, because the market's entirely different. Everything is different. There's no similarities whatsoever. And that way, I do think maybe the maximum retracement would be 50%. So if we go to 100K, we would retrace back to 50K. If we go to 200K, we would retrace back to 100K. So that's what I see, Aaron. But you're dead right. You and I think alike. Eurablo, or Eurabio. Airweave seems to be a great project linked with Solana. The tokenomics seems nice. It'd be nice to get your take. You read my mind. That's one of the three we're looking at right now that believe could be. We've rifled through nearly 300 cryptos to try identify something that's good, and Airweave is one, but it's already run quite a lot. So we need to balance how much they run to how much they are intrinsically worth to see if it's worth really investing in. Because I need a crypto to do more than a 3x, or else I'm happy where I am in the positions I am, because I believe all of those will do 3x's already. And I like to move. I have to get room in my stable for a new crypto. I need to fire one to get them out. So, Cod Fuel, is AMP worth holding on to? Nope. It's a very simple and sad question, but AMP is, it didn't pass the snuff test on the crypto compendium, I'm sorry to say. So, no. And there's a lot of things that people are holding on to, and that's why I mentioned as well, get rid of losers, because there's so many faster horses, but there's not many. If you look at the 10,000 cryptos out there, there's literally maybe 30 to 40 that'll do really well. So think about that. The guy, should I dump my Doge now or wait for it to get higher? I bought it at 3 cents. The guy, you should dump at least half of it, maybe 80%. Keep 20%, let it run. I think sell some, maybe 28 cents, 30 cents, 35 cents. Ratchet up all your exits as it goes up 5 cents. I do believe Doge could come back, but it's really losing its flavor. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, there's a huge sell wall facing Doge right now. So check out yesterday's video if you haven't seen it. That would give me a lot of concern. Chadwick, good to see you, sir. You were the Bob Ross of crypto, always a kind heart and brilliant mind. Have friends with 1 ETH, better for them to stake on Celsius or borrow against it for a dip in the cycle? Yeah, the ETH returns aren't bad. I know they're higher actually on Voyager than Celsius, which I realized to my surprise the other day. But it depends. I do see ETH going to 9 to 10K this cycle. It's just going through a bit of a weak patch right now. Staking it, the return isn't as much as borrowing against it and investing that. But just make sure your colleague gets their timing right. So I hope that helps, Chadwick. Appreciate the question. Freedom. Can you do a tokenomics check and or sheet a render token? Render 286. Yeah, we're doing the top 300, but we haven't analyzed them all. There's a few that we haven't gotten to yet. Render. That must have just broken into top 300 because it's not on my top 300 list. Nope. Hang on, let me check something. Give me 1 second. Gotta turn on some filters. Major. Render. Yep. I have a feeling we haven't actually checked that yet. But you know what? Now it has an asterisk, so we will dig into it. Everything that people ask us to look at, we actually look at it. So everything that came up was actually analyzed over this weekend. So freedom. Stay tuned. You'll get the answer soon. Linda McKay, would you buy Solana NFT? If so, which? I'm not. I'm not sure. I'd only buy an NFT if the proceeds went to charity. I did see. There was a couple that were kind of interesting, but Linda, I wouldn't like to say. What's very interesting about the NFT place is if you can find something that does have a sought after value by others, it can be extremely lucrative. I've been reading a bunch of stories about people who bought NFTs and then sold them again, and then bought them and sold them, and that can be quite powerful. So if I did invest in an NFT, it would have to be something that not only I want, but there has to be a big and growing demand for it in the future too. So TJ Mooney, what do you think about physical funded Bitcoins like Cassius, Leana, and Titans? They pop up for Sol Rally and Bitcoin Talk in the marketplace collectible section. I've never heard about any of those things, TJ Mooney, and I am so sorry. Titans, physical funded Bitcoins. There are some gold backed Bitcoins, but I don't know anything about these things. I will try check it out later tonight, TJ, but I'm sorry, I have no idea. I don't even know what bitcointalk.org is as well. I tend to be very limited on where I get my information from, so as not to be poisoned by or bombarded by bad information. So be careful of that too. And remember as well, in this market, everybody is always trying to pump something. Okay, so be careful what you hear and what you trust. David Balser, will you deep dive Raven coin? I've had a look at that a few times because everybody keeps on asking, and I know why people are asking is because it has taken a run. The problem is when we went through the crypto compendium, I got a really bad score. So it was way below, like if you imagine a 100 percentile score, it was in the bottom half. So we tend to only focus on the ones that score through the compendium in the top third. And Raven did not do well, so we're probably not going to look at it, I'm afraid. Maharoni, what are your overall thoughts on VET, short and long term? Well, somebody pinged me today on Discord and said, I think BitBoy reduced his price target in VeChain from $2 to 75 cents today, something like that. My goal was always 33 cents. That's what I see as the upside. If you see my should I buy VeChain, there's a few things of the tokenomics I don't like, and they tend to be fragmented. They're very much dominated by China, which comes about with some risk. So overall thoughts on VeChain, I have a very, very small bag. I'm ready to sell it at 20 cents, 25 cents, and put it somewhere else. And in fact, that'll be one of the first ones to go when I need to make room for a faster horse. JK8283, curious how Ox ZRX falls out of your model. Darling of the last cycle with a solid and extremely active team, but the project isn't hyped anymore. The problem is as well, JK, I know from not even looking at it, that when you have last cycle, like the 2017 tokens, they tend to have 2016, 2015 technology, and the world has come so far, even in the last 18 months. So what I've noticed lately is the tokens that are all fresh and new and like third gen blockchains, they tend to be the most successful. But I'm going to have a very quick look for you and see where it came out. ZRX, like Xerox. Wow, it actually got a really good score. This is interesting now. You've piqued my interest. It scores really well. It is ranked number 100. Yeah. Interesting. So I'll take another look. But so far, let me see where that question come from. That was JK8283. Really good. Really, really, really good score on the compendium. So that's interesting. Now I'm going to have a deeper dive into it. Rodney Tudell, any good reason to leave my Bitcoin in Robinhood? Well, you can't get it off Robinhood right now. So you're stuck. If you sell it, you'll be incurring probably capital gains because I know you got in early. Now, there is talk, like I mentioned, that they did promise a wallet by year end. Both the CEO and the chief operating officer, I just don't know where they are with that. They've been very quiet, which isn't a good sign. I'd rather them say, oh, we're 2 months away or 1 month away, or we've made good progress, but they've been very quiet. So I'll be monitoring that. I know a lot of people have a lot of Bitcoin on Robinhood, and some people have it at $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and they're dying to get it off of there, especially if they can earn yield on it elsewhere. So stay tuned. The other option is wait for the top of the cycle, sell it then, and then move the cash off Robinhood and buy back in a deal on a dip on a proper exchange. Work hard, HODL BTC. Never bought stocks, but want to invest along with IA equity portfolio, but without complex options. Do I set limit orders and buy outright? What is a fourth grade version? Want the best return, but not outside my ability. So work hard. Great question. Couple of things. Cryptos, we're in a very special time in the history of the world where you've seen the retire in crypto portfolio, many items of 3x, 4x, which is just, that doesn't happen in the equity world. You don't have Apple, say, for example, going from a $2 trillion market cap to an $8 trillion market cap. It's extremely rare for equities to move it as fast. But what you can do, it will be a safe portfolio that will grow well over time. So you take companies like Tesla, they'll go from $700 to $3,000, and you'll get Amazon will go from $3,000 to $4,500, maybe $5,000, and things like that. So yes, you can just place limit orders, but it's very important as well to balance your portfolio correctly and have the right allocations. And that's the big part of the discipline that I'm trying to instill using these models as well. So look at those carefully and be very picky. I did add a very risky one, which is Baba, but high risk, high return. Either this thing, I think, is very close to a bottom. Either it'll completely flame out, or it'll go back above 200, and that's kind of the idea behind the trade there. But don't necessarily follow these very risky trades. MotoJB, Dave G, and myself all say hi. Any review or thoughts on XDC? Hey, MotoJB, XDC. I was just. XDC is not good at all, I'm afraid, MotoTV, and don't buy it. Dave, don't buy it. Don't listen to MotoJB. Everything is bad from the compendium point of view, and the rating, and the security, and the team, and it's all sorts ugly. So be very careful. It's ranked number 62, cryptos. George Miller, Swiss francs 5. Thank you so much. The mayor of Miami City, Francis Suarez, is backing Miami Coin. Miami is part of a City Coins project. I think this will get huge. What do you think? Yeah, I think there are pockets of cities around the United States, and there's countries like El Salvador going live in 9 days on Bitcoin. I think it's amazing. I haven't dug into the City Coins project, but I know they're trying to turn Miami into the center of the crypto universe. And they're doing everything they can to do that, which I think is brilliant. Because the more pockets of success we have in the crypto world, the more overall adoption it'll get, the more popular it'll get. It's still frowned upon by traditional industries like banking and such. But again, I think El Salvador will be a huge success. And everybody will be able to point to that and see where things go from there. German Gree in Virginia. Any thoughts on Hive blockchain technology? Yes, we had a few times we had a look at Hive. And it is, hang on. Well, you got, there's two things. You got Hive, yes, the Hive blockchain mining company. I hope not Hive crypto, two different ones. Yes, I like Hive mining company, not Hive Bitcoin. But what is HVBT? Let me make sure I got this ticker right, because I don't want to give you bad information, because there's two Hives. Yes, the NASDAQ Hive I do like. And I like a lot of these Canadian companies, but sometimes they just don't run as fast as American companies until they get a NASDAQ listing. And I can't remember. This one it should be. It is listed on NASDAQ. Yes, overall, it is definitely a good company. I don't own any Hive, though. I don't play much in this space at all. The only equivalents I would have would be Galaxy Digital and Hut 8. So hope that helps. Neil Firth, I really need help proportioning my coins within my portfolio. Is your retiring crypto portfolio still appropriate? I've been using that as a guide. Do you have any plans to remodel the pie chart? I remodel it all the time, but I only do that within Patreon, I'm afraid. And if I could show you the pie chart now, I've added a lot into it since that video came out. And again, as I say, you always have to have your dancing shoes on, because everything changes so fast. So imagine if you went in and you picked 10 positions and they were all 10% of your portfolio each. Now you'd have Avalanche and Solana being nearly equivalent to the other 8 cryptos you own, because they've gone so fast. So yeah, the rebalancing has become a real challenge, and we are working on something to help with that, which is tied into the exit plan. But also back on the backside of the exit plan will be an entry plan to be able to identify where we believe the opportunity is compared to how much horses have run versus which other horses are good that haven't run yet. And that's what we're trying to crack the code on to help you guys to reallocate. So Neil, there are options. There's been a lot of updates. I haven't sold out of anything, but I'm on the cusp of selling 2 of the holdings from that original video. So stay tuned. As soon as I do that, I might do an updated video on that as well. FirmBiz, do you have any initial thoughts on Airweave? They seem to be offering a unique storage solution and have partnerships with Solana. Yes, so far the thoughts are very good. We have done an initial dive into Airweave and 2 other cryptos, and this is looking positive. So nothing red flaggy so far, being through it, and yeah, all in all, it looks really, really excellent. So we're happy to report. So good job if you are in it. But the problem is it has run quite a bit already too. Everybody's onto it. So we may not, even though it may be good, we may not chase. Eddie T, should I invest in Bitcoin proxies? I want some exposure to the stock market, or should I diversify into other asset classes? Well, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you my Bitcoin proxy exposure is huge. Very big positions in MicroStrategy, Square, PayPal, all those names. So HUD8, anything that is a proxy, I have it. So, and I use options as well to amplify my exposure. So it's definitely a good thing to do, ADT. But again, just from earlier in this presentation, you saw my price expectation of where I believe MicroStrategy could go if Bitcoin goes where I think it's going to go. So yes, Tech 15. Latest 20S. What crypto would you put in 24K besides Bitcoin? You have options because you're so young. You can take on a lot of risk. That being said, I think, like I do like Polkadot, but I prefer Solana. I love Aave. I like ChainLink as a safe play. I still like Ethereum despite all the FUD. Take your pick from some of those. Some are very expensive right now. I like Avalanche as well, but I think Avalanche is getting close to the top. That would be what I would kind of do. So I hope that helps. Grab that list, look at the charts, look at my price targets, and identify how much further you believe they can go during this cycle. Cryptolicious, have you looked at ADAX? ADAX does not ring a bell, but I know we did look at it. No, we haven't. Hang on. Nope, it must be outside the top 300. So I'm afraid no. I can have a very quick look now. Hang on a second. See what we can see real quick. Out on Masari. Yeah, it looks interesting. And the space. Very little information. Oh, it's number 2630. Oh my goodness. I was looking at some of the metrics first. It's like way too far out there. But great looking chart. Very good steady growth. But no, we really only focus on the top 50, but we scan the top 300 for opportunities that may have come through the cycle or something that's part of an ecosystem that could really explode. Kurt Gerber, your thoughts on OMI? Ecomi, we know it well. Let me get a quick update on where we are with that. Oh dear. Ecomi. Oh, terrible. I'm sorry. This went down in a ball of flames. That's one of the worst ones today so far. Yeah, Kurt, sad to say, not good. Red flags everywhere, at least from the Crypto Compendium. You know, even if the Crypto Compendium slates something, it doesn't mean people won't buy it, because there's a lot of hype out there, and you never know where things can go. And thank you for your donation as well. Serendipity, Dan, Pi 3.14. Oh, I like that. A mathematician. Tech, J15, and Maury, thank you for sharing your gift. Oh, you're so welcome. And thank you all for being here. I love working with you all the time and helping. And Glenn Johnson, thank you. Sinister Silverado, if you had a choice of a lump sum of 40K or 250 a month annuity for life, what would you do? I'd always take a lump sum. I never wanted. My philosophy has always been strange because not that I'm a gambler, but I've always believed a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Never believed in annuities. Never believed in things like pension funds that I collect when I'm 65 because I never believed I'd live that long. So I'd always want the money today and then do creative things with it, like buy an investment property or invest and turn that into much bigger money. So I'll give you an example of that exactly. I bought call options, 2 call options for $40,000 a couple of years ago, and that turned into 7 digits in a very short window of time. So what good is $250 a month when you can make a lot more? Anyway, Rodney Tudil, again, how are you? Can I sell Bitcoin that I purchased at 53 to move things out of Robinhood and get a tax break? Yes, you can. You can do that, Rodney. You can take that hit. It's only 3,000 now, or 4,000 maybe. But make sure as well, one of the things that would have me nervous on your position there is make sure you prepare your expediency once you sell, so that your funds will be transferred and you're not waiting a week for them to clear in a proper exchange. Because if that's the case, you could miss out on an opportunity. There's a lot of signs I'm seeing. I said this last week, and forgive me, but I saw so much bullishness. Oh, by the way, this is kind of funny. People are not going to say this, but this is 48870 was the note I had at Bitcoin when I started this. We've gone up $350. All because of the juju here. But make sure as well, like, you would hate to be caught out, Rodney, waiting a week to transfer your money. And imagine during that week, Bitcoin went from 50,000 to 65,000 and you weren't able to get in. That would be painful. So make sure you have full expediency, pay for the wiring, make sure it clears in real time. And Coinbase Pro is actually very good at giving you credit. Like if you do an ACH, sometimes it could take 5 to 7 days to clear. They'll give you, I think, $50,000, $100,000 credit before it actually clears. So one of the big thumbs up that I need and I like with Coinbase Pro. They don't have many. Crypto Gamer, thoughts on Terra? UST liquidity coming to Osmosis Cosmos Atom September 9th. The Cosmos community will buy UST, which will burn Luna. Well, I do like Luna. I haven't looked into the Osmosis stuff at all, and I don't like Atom, but I do like Luna. The Cosmos community will buy UST, which will burn Luna. Crypto Gamer, I'm afraid I haven't dug into that, but let me try figure out exactly. I don't want to give you an answer that I'm not versed on, because I don't own Luna. I don't study it. That's why it's also very key to be focused on no more than, say, 10 to 15 cryptos, because any more than that, you need 100 hours a day to study up on exactly what's going on. And these things are expanding so fast all over the place. Hello. I want to convert 25% of my ETH into Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. What portion would you suggest for each? How do you plan for the right moment to trade? So I look at my arbitration model. I look at the deltas between what I believe its true value is. I have this thing called theoretical floor and a theoretical roof based on the value of Bitcoin and their intrinsic market cap. And that tells me if it's overbought or oversold. So that's how I time MicroStrategy deals. I short it and go long it at different levels for those reasons. And then ETH into BTC, right now, I think we're going to take the third or fourth run at 50K over the last week or so. And we'll see if it'll get over it tonight. Oh, by the way, I've got DCA with George and Rob tonight at 5:30 Pacific, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. So hopefully see you all there. I forgot to mention that, by the way. So the ETH into BTC, yeah, it's only a matter of time. I think the El Salvador thing happening in 9 days, the run up to that and the run after that, and some of the big treasury announcements that I believe are going to come in September will have a big effect on Bitcoin. And the supply is so scant, as I always say. Dennis, have you taken a look at Mina? Yes, took a look at it many times and took a pass as well. And let me see. Give you the reason why. Yeah, it's just really bad in every perspective. So it absolutely flames out as well on the Crypto Compendium. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm giving everybody bad news, but we spent weeks building this thing so we could give very quick judgments. But the good news is we've identified some treasures through it. So it helps you identify the weak ones very quickly and the strong ones very quickly too. Simon Arenas, good to see you again. Which is a faster horse, MicroStrategy GBTC right now? To get one BTC worth, you would need 75k of MicroStrategy and 42k GBTC. Well, it depends what you want. So GBTC, I do believe, will convert to an ETF, which means that discount that you can currently get, which is 14.7% last time I checked. That is an amazing deal. If you're not using options, I would go with GBTC. Because I believe between the growth in Bitcoin and the fact that the ETF approval should happen late this year, early next. Some people are saying it could even happen in October. That would be huge for it. So that's what I would say, Simon. Now, if you are using options, I'd always go with MicroStrategy because then you can really amplify your gains. JP, not Morgan. Should I change all my ADA for Sol? It's kind of too late for that right now. The way I see it is, well, Cardano, I believe, according to my updated price target, is worth about $4, but I have yet to see what Alonzo Purple will do on the 12th of September. If they absolutely crush it, and there's huge adoption and network effects, then it is possible that Cardano will go to $10. If that's the case, you could have a 4x on Cardano, and with Solana right now at $90, it's a 2.5 to 3.5x. So the hard way to say it is Solana. My thesis when I saw Solana at $20 is like it's a no-brainer. Everybody needs to buy this thing. It's amazing, but now it's expensive. It's 5x'd, and the opportunity for it to do another 5x is limited. I don't see it going to $500. 4x unlikely. 2.5x, very likely. 3.5x, maybe. But if Cardano crushes it and get widespread adoption and eat Ethereum market share, boom, then you could see Cardano going to $10. But it's a toss-up right now. If Cardano doesn't crush it, then Solana is definitely the faster horse. But we don't know. We don't know what the speed, the transaction costs of Cardano are going to be. I can't find anything. I've been looking. I see 17 different reports, and I see reports of talking about speeds of the future. So it's just so hard to say. I just wish there was more transparency there. So I hope that helps. JP Not Morgan. And thank you for donations as well. DPR Pilot. Because of you, I've been able to convince my family members to buy some crypto. Now back to paper trading options. Good man. Jeeves, Algo has been so disappointing. I'm out. Boom. Good man. I'm close to being out too. MB Rolling, because of you. Oh, by the way, Jeeves, Algo is still up 54%. It hasn't done a 5x, but 54% is not to be sniffed at. MB Rolling, because of you, I'm a whole corner. Congratulations, MB. Make sure your security is tight. And Jeff Hammerberg, sorry for your pain. Sending you good vibes. Thank you. Hello, I'm mate. Don't go hurting yourself too much. We need to make so rich. Thank you so much. And Tuna's on toast. I love that. Rodney Tuttle, you're very kind. And Daniel Aziz, appreciate it. Appreciate and the good wishes. And also more donations. Nesquik's back. Alex Rogan and Broke Bank Vegan. Time to go. I'll see you all later. I'll see you all at 5:30 as well. I'll be back on with George and Rob for DCA. Good night, everybody.